Today we're gonna crochet this eye with 2-strand technique, except for row 3 that will be classic double crochet. We will need 4 colors of the same yarn, black and white, and 2 shades of iris color, a pair of scissors, yarn needle, and a hook that is recommended for yarn you use. I'm using for this one 2.5mm hook. We start with a magic ring with black yarn. Hold the short end of the yarn in your left hand, then with your right hand wrap the yarn around your fingers like so and hold it with the thumb. Then go under here with a hook and pull up a loop. Hold it with your right hand and take it off your fingers, and with your left hand you can now take the yarn and chain 1. Now we will add the lighter shade of the iris color, which is light blue for me. So we pull up a loop and now we chain 3. Now we'll need to pull the yarn here and there to make it look nice. Also, we don't count these chains as a stitch, and we are gonna start the row 1, which is 15 2-strand treble crochet in the magic ring. We yarn over the top yarn, then we go into the magic ring. We yarn over the bottom yarn and pull up a loop. Now we bring the bottom yarn again over the hook. We yarn over the top yarn and pull through first 2 loops, so only the black loops. Now we have 3 loops. We yarn over the top yarn and pull through first 2, like so. We have 2 loops. We yarn over the top yarn and pull through the other 2. This is the 2-strand treble crochet, and now we are going to place here 15 in total, so 14 more. We yarn over the top yarn, we go into the magic ring, yarn over the bottom yarn and pull up a loop. Bring that bottom yarn over the hook. Now yarn over the top yarn, pull through first 2, so through the black ones. We have 3 loops. Yarn over the top yarn, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. We are going to continue with 2-strand treble crochets into the magic ring, and we have to have 15 in total plus those chains. Those are extra, we don't count them as a stitch. So I am in the end. Now I am making my last 2-strand treble crochet, and now we are going to close the magic ring by pulling the black short end. You have to pull this really good, and then we also have to pull gently the blue one. And once we are done with the pulling, we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first 2-strand treble crochet, so we skip the chains that we made in the beginning of the first row. So in the end of the first row we already have pupil and we started the iris. Now we are going to cut off the black yarn. This eye has a right and a wrong side. The right side is the one facing you while you crochet, so on the other side we can make knots with the ends we don't use anymore to secure it and cut them off. So you tie a knot with black ends, then tie a knot with the iris colored end with black end and simply cut them off. And now that we don't have that many ends anymore in our way, we can continue. So we're gonna add now the darker shade of the iris color. We simply pull up a loop and we are going to chain 2. And once again we are not going to count these chains as a stitch. Row 2 is made of 32-strand double crochets. So we will need to increase in each stitch. We yarn over the top yarn and insert the hook into the top of the first stitch, yarn over the bottom yarn and pull up a loop, bring the bottom yarn over the hook, yarn over the top yarn and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Those are the lighter shades of the iris loops. Now we yarn over again the top yarn and pull through the 3 loops that we had left on our hook. Now again yarn over the top yarn and insert the hook into the same stitch, yarn over bottom yarn, pull up a loop, bring the bottom yarn over the hook, yarn over the top yarn, pull through first 2, yarn over the top yarn again and pull through 3 loops on your hook. And now we are going to place 2 2-strand double crochets into the next stitch. So we are going to increase in each stitch. So continue like this, place 2 2-strand double crochets in each stitch. So in the end of this row we will have 30 2-strand double crochets. And while you continue, I would like to remind you that if you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to hit the like button to let me know that you use this tutorial, maybe leave a comment, and if you'd like to see more of two-strand technique tutorials, make sure you subscribe to my channel because there is much more to come. Now let's continue. I'm placing the last two-strand double crochet, but instead of slip stitch, we are gonna make invisible join. So after finishing the last two-strand double crochet, cut off the yarn, that darker one of the iris color, but leave long enough end to work with. Okay, now remove the hook by pulling that loop that you had on your hook. Take the yarn needle and thread the yarn needle with that end. Now insert the needle into the stitch where you would normally slip stitch, so skip the chains that we made in the beginning of the row 2 and go into the top of the first two-strand double crochet from front to back and pull. And now we will go back into that last stitch, so where we came from, and we go under back loop only from front to back and pull. And as you can see, we created a V on the top, so our iris will have nice round shape. And now I'm going to secure this end on the wrong side of the eye, so we go in the same direction to weave in the end, and then after a few centimeters or a half inch, you go back, so in the opposite way, in the opposite direction. And now once you're done, you can again tie knots with all these ends together. We are not going to need them anymore, and then just cut them off. And we have 2 more rows to go. The first one will be only double crochets with 1 strand, and then we will again get back to the 2-strand technique. Now when you look from the top, you can see the V's that we had on the top of the stitches, and here in the back is the 3rd loop, and you can choose random 3rd loop. And we are going to add there the white yarn, pull up a loop and chain 3. The 3rd row is made of 45 double crochets placed in 3rd loops. So we go into the same 3rd loop and we place here a double crochet, then we move to the next 3rd loop of the next stitch and place here 2 double crochets. And then in the next we will place only 1, and then in the next 3rd loop we will place 2, and this way we are going to continue, so always every other 3rd loop is increased. Now in the end we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch, into the top of the first stitch, so we skip those chains and slip stitch in the top of the first double crochet that we made. And now we are going to add again the black yarn. You can also go for other color, I mean it's totally up to you, maybe you want the red one for Halloween or something. I went for black. So we pull up a loop and chain 2. And this last row, row 4, is made of 54 2-strand double crochets with increase in every 5th stitch. So we yarn over the top yarn, we go into that first stitch, we yarn over the bottom yarn, pull up a loop, then we bring the bottom yarn over the hook, yarn over the top yarn, pull the first 2, so through the white ones, yarn over the top yarn and pull through all 3 loops that we had on our hook. Then in the next stitch we place again 1 2-strand double crochet, then the 3rd, 4th, and in the 5th we are going to place 2 2-strand double crochets into the top of the same stitch. And then again we will place 1 2-strand double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then again 2 2-strand double crochets in the top of the 5th stitch. And if we continue this way with increase in every 5th stitch, we should have now 54 2-strand double crochets, and we will slip stitch into the top of the very first 2-strand double crochet that we made. So we skip these chains that we made in the beginning of this row, then we cut off the black yarn and we can again make the knots and then cut off the ends. So now we are finished. You can see what it looks like. You can, for example, crochet 2 of them and slip stitch them together to create sachet or bag and fill it with herbs, put it into your closet. I mean, you can do whatever you like. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.